Well, hello. I had a snow day today, so I decided to do this thing. So we're doing a live stream. I'm just gonna keep looking over here because I want to make sure everything's right. Yeah, I showered kind of late this morning. I don't know if it weren't for doing this, I might not have showered at all. It's kind of nice just having a day off. Although, really, this time of year, didn't want a day off, but you know. So, topic for today, Jacob Sampson asked, is about the Parker dual fold, but thought the Blizzard really isn't kicked off. So who knows? The school may discover that they're sorry they kind of jumped the gun here with this. But for knowing what's coming, I think that they'll be glad because I would rather have a day off from school than to send kids home early. Because when you send kids home early, you know you're sending them home in bad conditions and hoping you get them home before they deteriorate too much. So, David Anderson, good to see you. I didn't look what the temperature was before I started this, so I'll just, it's cold because, there's snow out there, but so I thought I'd show you a couple of pens. I was sent these from Australia, and then just kind of a general talk. I thought maybe about an hour or so for this. And so let me organize my pens here before I show you these. And oh, hello, Mr. Best Beatles Fan 1 is here. I don't listen to music often, but when I do, oldies are something I really enjoy. And of course, the Beatles feature prominently in that. So this is my first time doing a live stream with the new lights. So I keep looking over to see how I look. And then we'll have to see how the everything looks with the pens. Okay, pens are sideways. Oops, still sideways. There we go. So those are the pens. There's one missing. Give me a second. I'm just gonna. Nope, there isn't one missing. I'm wrong. They're just not sitting together. There we go. So the two pens that I was sent, I have a Parker Dual Fold Junior sent to me from Australia, actually. Give you a look here. Look here. The previous owner told me that it was dropped on the floor and the nib was really destroyed, and he did a lot of work on it to fix it. And it feels smooth on my finger. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it. The time management series coming soon. I need to get working on those. Honestly, this fall has really challenged my time management. So even my fountain pen videos have been missing sometimes. The Dark Horse is here. Miss Marilyn Darling is here. Welcome. This is the other dual fold I was sent. Honestly, even though this is not the one that had the lovely encounter with the floor, the nib isn't quite as smooth as the other one. And this was made in England, it says. So they got here the long way from Australia. Now, I've actually reviewed one like this. This is one that I have owned. So a finial is missing. Actually has a very nice nib. So I'm going to ink up all three of these, mine and the other two. Martin Stewart asks if he's missed the snow. So we'll give you a quick look out the window here because I can do that with this camera. So the blizzard hasn't really come force yet, but this is starting to come down. Got to reset everything here. So we had 8 inches of snow last week. It kind of settled, but still there. So this is a dual fold. Okay, now I have to remember that everything's backwards on my screen. This is a dual fold that I've had some trouble with. Mainly the nib needs some work. the tines are kind of, and I'm still trying to fix that. Welcome, Alan. Sail Cat. Yeah, I'm probably going to go out later today I don't know why, but I'm going to go out later today. Got to go enjoy the snow somehow. This is a Parker Dual Fold Streamline. Just a little smaller. And this is not a brand new dual fold. I actually just cleaned out my brand new dual fold. It was in a bunch of rodeos, so I had to clean it. This is a dual fold international, and you can see, it's smaller than this more 1920s dual fold, but nice pen. But anyway, let's focus on the 3 superstars for today. And I do have some coffee here, so you might hear me slurping a little bit, because I also slept in this morning. So I was thinking about ink, and I was going to do my typical thing where I just do, Parker Quink Washable Blue, but I thought, if I've got 3 pens here, got to do something else. Hello, Robin Allen. Sorry, I will get the screen closer after I quit doing the writing, but for now the screen's kind of off in the distance. But yeah, 76 degrees. I won't see that for a few months. So a few years ago, I sent a bunch of Krishna samples, and we're going to pull 3 of them out at random. So my first random one is Sea and Storm. That one's not Krishna, so I'm going to throw it back. Also not Krishna. What is it? Elixir. I never even heard of that brand. I wonder if they meant to send me Elixir inks. Okay. Oh, very appropriate. This one is called Christmas Eve. And one more random drawing. Krishna Winter. So I'm curious to see what even colors these are, because those names aren't suggesting anything to me. Miss Marilyn Darling says, don't show that yellow pen to Friedrich. So hopefully Friedrich isn't watching. But yeah, that's a beautiful pen. I wish Parker still made pens like that. I am surprised by how good the light is here. Okay, I just pressed a button that didn't do what I expected it to do. There we go. There. Krishna inks, other than the Canacona was very crustalicious, I've had good luck with them so far. So let's go with this Krishna Winter. Everybody gets nervous with how I do samples. Ooh. I'm going to put Krishna Winter into the little dual fold. Good to hear from Pensane and Sailcat. Glad to have you here. It is beautiful out there. We've got all the hoarfrost on everything, and the snow just coming down, and no wind yet. So that's, very enjoyable snow. Oh, bubbles nicely. I didn't know Krishna had a MYK set. That's interesting. All right, so we got a decent fill. I suppose I could go a little bit, a couple more squirts. But these kind of fillers, it's hard to get them completely full. But hey, it's the original sack and oops. Okay, so the shield comes off very easily. Whoop! See? So screw. Okay, that looks like it'll be some kind of a purple color. So only snow in the mountains. Okay, Dolomites is ringing a bell, but I can't remember where the Dolomites are. But glad to have you here. we call them mountains in North Dakota, but they're not very tall. We have the Turtle Mountains and we have the Killdeer Mountains. Looking for a notebook up here. Let's go with this notebook. So let's just see how the little one writes. Oh, yeah, preview of coming attractions. Oh, okay, yeah, I wasn't even thinking of Venice, so I'm glad you told me that. The Black Mountains, actually, we don't have the Black Mountains. There are the Black Hills in South Dakota, which are much higher than any mountains in North Dakota, but they only call them hills. Sunny and 0 here in Philadelphia. Yeah, I think it's actually warmer than that here in North Dakota right now. So I'm going to write with a little pen. Let me just get a little closer to the page. There we go. Oh, that's a nice purple color. So this may not be exactly the correct name, but I'm going to call it Junior. The ink in it is Krishna. I hope this is appearing correctly on your screens, because on mine it's totally backwards. Pensane says, Krishna is one of my favorite brands. Right now I have chocolate brown loaded in a Twisby swipe smoke and a broad nib. Yeah, I'm happy with these Krishna inks. So I've been told that I might need an Indian perspective to understand what this means, why they call it winter. The person who sent this to me said this nib has some bounce, and I'd say that it does. So we'll do some more writing with it in a little bit, but yeah, that's that first little pen. I think I'm going to put this other little pen next to it. It's actually called a Slim Fold. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Krishna inks are actually pretty low cost. So yeah, if you get the chance, there's definitely something to look at. So I'm going to put the Christmas Eve in my personal pen. Yeah, other than that Canacona, my experience, other than that Canacona being all crusty, I've had pretty good experience with Krishna inks. Now this looks like a very blue ink. Not what I would have expected for Christmas Eve, but have to remember that it's Indian, so they've got different perspective on things. No, actually, I've been able to order them from, they're located in Alabama. Venice Pens. Which, you're located in, I think, the UK, so I don't think that helps you a whole lot, but, So import might be difficult, but yeah, Venice Pens is where I've gotten mine. So decent fill on that. It's hard to tell with this sack. This sack is kind of stained. There's a part of me that's tempted to whip out my Parker 51. I don't have one of the new ones. I have an old one. Okay, thank you. Venice Pens. Oh, and Pen Chalet. Yeah, I don't think I've ever... Whoops. Just dropped one of my samples. I don't think I've ever purchased anything from Pen Chalet. Birmingham Inks is wonderful. I've never tried Monarcha. Actually, honestly, I've never heard of Monarcha Inks. 33 in Met Gray, no wind in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yeah, definitely no wind here. Gray, for those of you joining. The blizzard hasn't really blizzarded yet. So that's the view out my living room window. But anyway, oops, wrong way. This is so unprofessional. Okay, good thing this is not my day job. So we're looking at Parker Dual Fold. Now we just wrote with the small one that was sent to me from Australia. Now I'm going to try, it's a Mexican brand. I've never heard of it though. Now we're going to try this one that I've owned. So this is a Parker Slim Fold. I think that's looking nice. Lemur Ink also carries Monarcha. Yeah, I've never shopped with them either, so I might have to do that. So this is Krishna. Christmas Eve will abbreviate so it fits. This pen has a little bit of flex, not a lot. Not as much as this one. But I've always enjoyed the nib on this one. Yeah, that's kind of like a blue-black color to my eye. I don't know how it's coming across, but that's what I'm seeing. And then we get to the big one. So it has some writing on it. Let's see if I can get it in focus. I'm sorry, I'm struggling because it's all backwards. So what I'm seeing is Parker Dual Fold, something I can't read, and then made in England. I'm going to get out my loop, see what that middle part says. So I got a loop here. I'll try to show you too, but I'm just going to look real quick myself. Registered. Oh, I think that's registered trademark. If you can make that out. The other one had nothing on it. And I'm noticing with the clips, this one has a clip just like mine. Mine is the green one. But the other little one that I was sent has a different style clip. So whatever that's worth. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Mike, I like that dark blue. That's a nice color. Mr. Beatles fan Amarillo Stationery carries Monarcha inks. Okay, I haven't ever been there. And Miss Marilyn Darling, newer and older models for sure. I'm not sure what their age is, but I'm just looking at the shield on this one. It's definitely been through more than the others. Let's see, Parker. And I think this is that typical 10 presses message. I do know that they will all take ink because they all do take water. Because I had to clean the two red ones before I wanted to use them. So this is looking like, this is the Sea and Storm. This is looking like it might be sort of a reddish ink. Oh, this is taking in a lot of ink. Wow. Yeah, I really lowered the ink level in that bottle. So we might have to come back and take a look at the nibs. I kind of have trouble in this lighting seeing what's on the nibs, but with the camera's help, I might be able to. Okay, so this is, we'll call this a Parker Dual Fold Senior for lack of a better name. Oh, that is a nice color. So the ink is Krishna, Sea and Storm. I'm not really seeing why it's called that, but it is pretty. Do I have Candle Day here? I've never heard of Candle Day. That must not be a U.S. thing. So before I go on, let's just take a minute to appreciate the inks. So this Krishna Winter is not looking at all like what I have outside, but that is a nice purple. And I like the flex on that nib. This is a very nice blue with really fun shading. And then I like this. This kind of reminds me of like Noodler's Black Swan and English Rose. This is a very nice red. I don't see Sea and Storm in it, but it is pretty. All right, so let's come back. Just do a little more writing with each pen. So I'm back to this guy. We're just going to try to do a close-up on the nib. Guess that's as close as you get. You know, it's hard with this camera to do some of the things I can do with my regular stuff. So, wetness and flow. Whoops. I just put that in the wrong spot. So we're doing this pen. Wetness and flow. Very wet and very nice. Smear test. Whoop. So pretty wet, within the limits of me trying not to smear into the other pen. So now we'll go with this pen, the red, the small red one. Oh, that could be, because, what is it? Red before dawn? No. Red in the morning, sailors take warning? Something like that. I think I remember a poem like that. Yeah, this one isn't as wet as my green one, but it's nice. Smear test. Ooh, we got a little railroading there with that little bit of flex. Yeah, that one's writing really nicely. And the big one. I like the feel of this big one. This is a nice pen. This one, out of the three of them, this one feels the best in my hand. Will I have room to smear, though? Yep, my smear ran off the page. Okay, Red at Night, Sailor's Delight. Thank you. You know the poem I'm talking about. We'll work in for those of you who are into that kind of thing, we'll work in a little bit of reverse writing. The artists are who like that. Red in morning, sailors take warning. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'm not imagining it. So I don't really have a lot of room, so we'll just do it this way. Reverse. That actually feels really good in reverse. Let's see how this one feels in reverse. Yeah, this green one that I've owned is kind of scratchy in reverse. Not objectionable. I have pens that write like that, just not great. And the big dude. Not as scratchy as the green one, but not amazing. So, of course, we're going to have to do the world-famous Peer Gustafson test in a very cramped space. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze or cough or something. When I'm doing this live, I can't edit those out. So the little one, little red one. Mr. Gustafson himself told me I had a very heavy hand, but I'm happy with how that turned out. The little green one. Also turned out very well. And the big red one. Now, I remember I commented on one of Miss Marilyn Darling's videos that they were doing the whole Peer Gustafson test, only not just a little one like this. It went on for a whole page, and I was curious and asked why. And it's to really get that full experience and know how well it keeps up for a long period of time. And Yeah, that's true. And I've watched um Mr. Gustafson, sorry, drew a blank for a second on his own test. I've watched Mr. Gustafson do his art, and yeah, very rapid, quick strokes, and so I can see why he, Mr. Gustafson, came up with this test. Um, and okay, thank you. So it's to make sure that the feed keeps up with the flow, and you're right. Oh, and you like to flourish your calligraphy, of course. You have much better writing than I do. Black, fight back. Brown, lay down. White, say goodnight. I feel like I've heard that somewhere, but I'm not catching the reference off the top of my head. But anyway, these are, I'm really happy with these pens. So I'm going to pull back here, give you a look at the three of them again. And since it's live, I don't mind that you're seeing all my dirty secrets. So my own Parker Slim Fold is the smallest of the three. And then we have a Parker Dual Fold Junior, a Parker Dual Fold Senior. The Senior I'm tapping right now. The Senior actually looks a lot like mine as far as the clip and the decoration on this band. And then the Junior has a different clip, probably a more modern clip. I'm going to go grab a point of comparison. So you just talk amongst yourselves for a second. So I have a ridiculous number of Parker pens. So this is a Parker 45. The clip on this is looking a lot more like this Parker. I have this Parker Vacuumatic, which is an even older style clip than this because it has the word Parker in it. And then I have this Parker 71. Looks a lot like these two. So, not that that really means anything, but I just thought it was interesting. Sorry, I usually edit those out, but not today. So I thought before I flip back up to my face, I just show you a couple upcoming projects. So I'm going to be reviewing soon. This is a Garant. See if I can read it in this light. It says right there, but I can't read it. It's like it's too shiny under this light. Alcor. It's a Garant Alcor. So this is an East German pen that'll be coming up soon. Kind of about the size of that bigger Parker Dual Fold. Very nice East German pen. And the nib. Oh, it's too shiny to read that in this light. I've got my loop, so we'll do it off screen. So Garant Iridium Pointed. Written in English, by the way. So were they exporting them? Inquiring minds want to know. I have this thing. This is a Bulgarian pen. I can't really read that. Is there another color theme mnemonic for snakes? Huh. There was a brand of ink that came out a few years ago, I think from Australia, that was all snake themed. And they were all named after various poisonous snakes. Let's see. I can't really read this either. But anyway, it's a Bulgarian pen. I'm very curious about it. I have written down what the name is. I just am not remembering it. And since I don't speak Bulgarian, okay, the nib just says signature 4. I don't know if anybody heard that, but there's a train that comes through town that has a very out of tune horn, and it's blowing right now. This is a Stadler. I think they made their own nibs. This one feels like it may need some work when I finally ink it up. It's a little scratchy on my fingers. What else is here that's cool? Whoop, the Stadler one will come back. This is a good one. This is a hero. So I'm going to be soon reviewing a vintage Chinese pen that I like very much. This is one I don't care for as well. This is a Selector 123. What I don't like is the nib is just too scratchy, too fine. Both. This, I think this is my other, yep, this is my other vintage Chinese pen of the same model. Yeah, it could be a Pobeda. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look at my information on it, but yeah. Oh, yeah, I welcome Sajjad Hussein. I just decided to do this last night when I found out school was canceled today. So this is, okay, gotta look through the loop because I can't read that in this light. Okay, I still can't read it, but I think this is East German. And let's see, got a couple more here. Oh yeah, this is a cool one. This is a Well Sharp. What's going to make this one fun? It's a lever filler with a glass nib. And it's a little small for my taste, but wow, is that pretty. I have a Techno Export. I forget which country it's from. I want to say it's either Central Pen or else it's Hungarian. I have it written down. This has a nib that kind of reminds me of some of those Kaweco pen, the Kaweco V pens that I like so much. So that'll be a fun one to review. I guess I have time to do some filming. And this one, other than I know it's from Argentina. Oh, there's a brand name. Get out the loop again. Oh, maybe it's not no, it is Argentina. I'm going to have to figure out what that means in Spanish. It says LAO-LAO. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. You'd think I'd know. But right here where my thumb is, which you can't see, it says made in Argentina. But nice hooded nib. So I'm curious about this one. So I've gotten close to my goal of a pen from every continent. I just have not gotten one from Antarctica. So I definitely need those penguins to get to work. Oh, and I have a Gamma. I know it has a model number. I just don't remember it. I'll probably fill this with, well, not Parker Quink washable blue because that's going to hold an ungodly amount of ink. So, but something will go in it. And then I have, I have a president here. Let's look at Mr. President or Miss President. So President. So this is one of those unknown brands to me. All I've done with this pen is clean it out. So that'll be an interesting one also. So a little bit of preview of some coming attractions. So we'll come back to my face for a little bit. I guess I've been doing pens. Oh yeah. I don't have any vintage pens from South America, but I have, or South Africa, but I have a couple of modern pens from South Africa, surprisingly. So yeah, South Africa's covered. Australia is covered. I'm just need to get those penguins working for me down in Antarctica, and then I will have all 7 continents covered. Okay, whoops. Just put some pens into my to review pile that don't belong there. Put them back here. There we go. Alrighty. So one last look at the rating samples. Then we'll take a quick look outside again. It is looking a little winterier. Still not amazing yet, but getting there. Yeah. Oops, I'm going to turn off the light here. So coming down more. The wind has picked up a little bit since we last got outside, but not. And yeah, winter is here. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to move this laptop a little closer so I can actually see the comments without leaning over. So I don't know if you know the camera that I use for doing these live streams. It's an IPVO. It's a document camera, actually. But this one will do, the face like this, and it'll do documents. And so it's a very good versatile camera. When I visited Mr. Pierre Gustafson a year ago, this is the camera I took with me. In fact, when I travel and plan to do pen videos, this is the camera I use. So it's really nice for that. The lava lamp is just starting to wake up. I just turned it on a little bit, about an hour before I started filming this. It's very slow heating up. So I see we've got 24 people on. I didn't expect a lot of people. I honestly, later in the evening might have been a better time to film, but as I mentioned when I did my little post saying I was going to do this, I have a class. So even though North Dakota is probably going to be shut down at 4 o'clock tonight, the class will go on because it's online. So there's good and bad about technology. It's good that I'm reaching you right now. Bad that I still have to go to class tonight. But it's the last class, so that'll be good. And it was a class about standards and stuff. It just, something I took to learn something. Yeah, Jacob is right. I think that's my big hope, is that there's an engineer with a lathe down there in Antarctica that can make me a pen. So do I have viewers in Antarctica? Antarctica has not shown up when I look at my analytics, but there can't be more than like 1,000 or 2,000 people in Antarctica at a time anyway. So maybe it's just not enough viewers to pick up. I don't know. Okay, red on black, friend to Jack. Red on yellow, kill a fellow. I have not heard that. 2 hours away in Kokomo. I'm trying to think where I want to say Hawaii, but that can't be right if you're 2 hours away. But anyway, yeah, that's my big hope. I actually had a student who he got into some really cool stuff after he graduated. He was analyzing asteroids to figure out what their metallic content was. So he's doing that for a while. Eventually got his hands on a real asteroid he got to work with. He did a lot of work with radio telescopes. He was trying to get time, and he was hoping for a trip to Hawaii because there's a big telescope in Hawaii. And then he was looking at, after he finished school, he was looking at a couple different jobs. One of them was building those ice roads that the truckers use in Alaska. Another one was going to involve going to Antarctica. So I told him, if you get to Antarctica, build me a fountain pen. So so far he hasn't done that. I don't think he made it to Antarctica. Okay, less than 150 at the station down there. Okay, yeah. I know it's not very many down there. Retired teachers don't have to be anywhere. Yeah, I'm not retired yet. I will actually be able to retire and collect my full benefits in 13 years, which, when I started teaching, that was very far away. And now it's less than half my career away. So I've been teaching since fall of 1999. So I guess I'm in my 23rd year of teaching. Okay, spring of 1999, because I substitute taught in the spring. But anyway, we'll just say 23rd year of teaching. 3D printer. Yeah, I'm sure they've got 3D printers down there to build parts and things. Okay, Jacob Sampson says about 1,000 in Antarctica in the summer. Person with a Greek name sorry, I don't speak Greek. Any fountain pen that can function in Antarctica? Well, indoors probably. I think the pen would be fine in Antarctica. I think it's the ink that would be the problem. I bought some of Nathan Tardif's polar inks, just samples. I didn't buy whole bottles a couple of years ago, just to see what they'd be like. And the first thing I did is put them in my freezer, and they all froze. So, yeah, I'm not sure how polar they are. The Smithsonian Antarctica, yeah, that would be fun, but as you say, very expensive. Oh, Kokomo. Okay, you're in Indiana. I guess I should have guessed that. Okay. I guess I don't remember what telescope he said he was going to use. He was able to get time on it from the university he was going to. And then, of course, naturally, he wanted to go to Hawaii to do it, but COVID was a thing then, and also funding was an issue. So, okay. Basil. Oh, you're trying to read Greek. Yeah, I know some Greek letters, but yeah, don't speak Greek. Oh, hello. Welcome from the Netherlands. That's a country I'd really love to visit. You always see pictures of Amsterdam and the canals there and things, but I am weird. I think if I ever go to the Netherlands, I'd really love to get out into the country and see the small towns in the Netherlands. I guess because I'm a small town guy, I live in a small town, but that's what I'd like to do. And I saw an amazing photo once. It was there were a bunch of windmills, not the cute ones that the tourists look at, but the modern wind turbines. But it was over a field of tulips. I just thought, wow. And then I watched a video once. It was on a house being built, but it was in a field. I think it was rape seed. Anyway, it was something with a yellow flower, and I just thought, wow, that's beautiful. Aloha, Andrew Wertheimer. Oh, you are from Honolulu. Okay, welcome. Okay, yeah, used bookshops might be a good reason to go into Amsterdam. I have a serious weakness for them. In fact, this blizzard has now ruined my plans, but this weekend I was planning to go up to Dickinson. They're opening a new used bookstore there. Unfortunately, thanks to the blizzard, they've canceled some stuff and postponed it until Saturday, and I have to work some of those events. So guess who's not going to Dickinson to check out the new used bookstore? So probably just as well go a couple weeks later when the novelty is worn off and it's not full of crowds. But yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, so it is. Oh, Vasilis. Okay, I was having trouble making basil out of that. So yeah, okay, Vasilis makes more sense. And I recognize like the B, the alpha, the lambda. Okay. Is a sigma. Or maybe you don't call them that at all. I don't know. I teach physics and math and stuff, and so I know what we call them call those letters in English when we use them in formulas. So I'm sure that it was announced on the radio that school is closed, but I don't even own a radio except in my car anymore. I don't listen to radio. We have an AM station here in the little town where I live, but what they use now is it's called Instant Alert, and what they do is they'll email, they'll do phone calls, they'll do texts. It's just an automated system that sends out a message about school being closed or called off or whatever's important. But yeah, I did that as a kid a lot, listening to the radio, waiting. Oh, please, please call it off, call it off. Not even thinking about the fact that, oh yeah, we're going to have to make it up later. So my personal preference would have been not to call off school today. If we're going to have a snow day, I think I'd prefer it to be in like February, end of February, when I'm kind of sick of school and want a break. Not right now when I'm about to go on a holiday break. So, but the weather gives you no choice. Wonderful bicycle tours. Yeah, and you're right. And the Netherlands are very flat, so that would be a neat country to tour on bike. And it's a very bicycle friendly country, which makes it even better. Um, I'll tell you the reason we haven't looked at online schooling. We may have to if we have too many snow days. The reason we haven't is we have a lot of rural students, and when they're rural students, that means they're ranchers. And yeah, for the kids in town, this is a day off. But if you're a rancher and have cattle to take care of, this is definitely not a day off. This is a day where you're outdoors all day working to make sure you keep your cattle alive, because that's what makes you your money. So that's what they've thought about is, well, the ranching kids. What do you do with them? So, if we have to, in order to finish on time and get the number of days in, and we'll do online school. What they're more likely to do is cancel out some breaks through the rest of the year. And we do have 2 snow days built in at the end of the year. Okay, so that letter is a sigma. Good to know. Oh, yeah, we didn't have internet either when I was young. So, yeah, I had to listen to the radio. My dad used to have a shortwave radio that he would listen to. I used to listen to, I can't remember what it was called, but it was American, but it was broadcast into Cuba. I was taking Spanish at the time, so I could kind of pick up what they would talk about, sort of. Not well, but, enough to get by. Yeah, that was neat. Okay, so small towns in the Netherlands are cool, but I shouldn't miss Amsterdam. Okay, yeah, I was not sure if I should say that, but yeah, that whole English language thing. I do not speak any Dutch. What's the other language they speak in the Netherlands? Is it Flemish? Anyway, I don't speak either one. I took a semester of German in high school, so I can kind of puzzle out some Dutch, but not enough to read it. So, but yeah, if you have an English bookshop, I would be right there, and I bet you would have a very fun selection that would be very different from what I would get at a store in the United States. I used to go to a used bookstore up in Canada in a town called Brandon, city called Brandon. And the selection there was, you'd think, it's not that far into Canada, but you'd think it'd be a very similar selection to what I find here in the United States. But oh no, a very different selection of books. I loved that store. But it's gotten so it's hard to cross the border, and so I haven't been there in years. It probably isn't there anymore. Yes, Google Translate does help a lot. I have several students right now who don't speak any English. So I'm able to communicate them with some apps like Google Translate, and what they're able to do, I don't have my phone over here, but they just hold their phone up over like a test, and it recognizes all the words typed on the test, and it translates them all to Spanish for them. It makes me wonder, what did you do with students who didn't speak English just a few years ago when you didn't have this amazing technology? And yeah, so we're in a good time for that. Okay, everyone speaks English in the Netherlands. Used bookstores had great multilingual collections. Oh yeah, I'm sure, especially in Europe. Permissive drug laws. Honestly, excuse me. Honestly, the drugs aren't something that interests me about the Netherlands. I've heard stories. We might be sorry we did. Yes, Radio Marti. Thank you. That was it. My father didn't listen to it because he doesn't speak any Spanish, but I listened to it. Where was I? Oh yeah, with the so we had this guest speaker came to the we have a vocational agricultural program here, so that teacher brought in a guest speaker who'd done a lot of importing with agricultural products from different countries, and so he talked about his visit to the Netherlands, and he started out showing the agriculture there, the greenhouses. Netherlands are a surprisingly huge agricultural exporter. But then he got into the what do they call it, the red district in Amsterdam, and I just sat there thinking, do you not know that you're talking to a high school audience? Because yeah, he had more than a few questionable pictures and things that he brought up, because apparently the ladies are available in the red district also, not just drugs, and they stand in shop windows and things. And I just thought, high schoolers, these are high schoolers, these are teenagers. But I guess it's just sex, it's not violence or something. So yeah, it made a good story for the kids later, I guess. Okay, Susan says everyone she met in Amsterdam spoke English. Oh, FedEx is out there. Not stopping at my house though. Yeah, I've heard that. Netherlands and Finland, I've heard most people speak English. Let's see. Alan Price used to listen to Radio Netherlands. Actually have a cassette Dutch course I bought from them. No luck learning, though. I do have a Dutch middle name and allegedly Dutch ancestry. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have any Dutch ancestry. I'm American, so it ceases to matter so much when you're here. But I have a Polish last name. But yeah, I'd like to get to Europe. There's a couple of things I want to accomplish financially yet, but I'm going to be in a good spot in a couple of years. I'm just not in it yet. One of the things that'll put me in a good spot is getting this house paid off, which should happen within 2 years. Andrew Wertheimer, I tried their Dutch course too, but did not get very far. It was hard to remember to listen in at the right time. Yeah, so when they used to do those courses just over the radio, you're busy that time and then you miss out. That's something I've kind of forgotten about, but it used to be you want to watch Cheers, that's on at 8:30 on NBC on Thursday nights, and if you're not there at 8:30 on Thursday night, too bad. Hopefully you can catch it in a rerun sometime. Nowadays I don't worry about that. I don't have cable. I just watch stuff whenever. And that's very freeing. We started to get that in the 80s with the advent of a VCR, but it wasn't quite as good as watching it on TV. But man, this online streaming stuff is just wonderful for that, because during the week I don't really have time to watch a lot of that stuff, and I might be creating videos and stuff if I do have free time, or I want to read a book, and it's just nice to, okay, it's Saturday night, I don't feel like doing anything, time to put on The Expanse or whatever. Yeah, we just people don't get that anymore, that what it was like to have must-see TV because you had to see it then. Martin Stewart, Finland has a Latin radio station. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Latin is trying to think. I guess that's sort of spoken in the Vatican, but that's interesting. They have a whole radio station in Latin. Yeah, squirrel isn't Polish. My last name is very Polish, though. Ulna talked about, the thriving child porn industry. Yeah, glad he didn't bring that one up. That's a creepy scene anywhere. So why the kanji in my icon? That's actually Chinese. It's the Chinese for squirrel. I've heard several literal translations of the Chinese. I've heard tree rat, which I do not appreciate, but I've also heard pine mouse as a translation. I like that one a lot better. Let's see. Oh, Andrew Hoffman just woke up in Melbourne. The blizzard is starting. In fact, it's getting more, a little more now. It's also coming from the southeast. I think it's going to get hot through this window, but it is picking up. It's just slower starting than I think they were expecting it to be. What is my fountain pen for a snowy day? Well, I've got 3 Parkers now to play with that I did in the video earlier. Pick them up here. All inked up with Krishna inks from sunny India. So that'll be fun. I'm actually kind of looking forward to when I stop this video, sitting down for an hour or so and doing some writing with those pens. I really like the big one. That is a nice pen. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say who I got them from, but to the Australian gentleman who sent them to me, thank you very much. That Parker Dualfold Senior especially is a wonderful pen. And the Junior has just a fun flex nib. Alan Perez says, oh, distant is good. Okay. May only be 1 day per week. SCTV. One of the advantages of must-see TV was that yes. So, when I've seen The Expanse, other people say, yeah, I've read the books. I need to try that show out. And they just no urgency to do it. And I've been the same way about things. My parents had talked about this show called Yellowstone. And so finally last summer I started watching it. And not really my kind of show, but, I've been watching it now. Kind of makes me think of Dallas, only Montana instead of Texas. But yeah, people don't talk about it. And Chris Sains, yes, there is snow. My shoveled sidewalk is no longer shoveled. I'm seeing somebody walking their dog in this, probably walking their dog before it gets too nasty out there. So just for Chris, we'll do this again. The dog walker is partly behind that tree out there on the stop sign. But yeah, picking up. I think that's got to be a hard call, though. I can just imagine the superintendent waking up this morning and say, "Oh no, you got to snow now." And but like I said earlier, I would rather call the day off than to send kids home early because the weather's gotten bad. Because when you send kids home early, you're sending them into something bad, and that's when things can happen. Okay, so ink is basically water, freezes at 0 degrees. Absolutely, yes. I don't know what Nathan Tardif does with those polar inks, but like I said, that freezes in my freezer, so I don't know that they're really all that different. Oh, I didn't enunciate clearly. Okay, SCTV is a Canadian satire show. Yeah, must see TV. Oh, I didn't know this was Chris's birthday. Happy birthday. 77 degrees in South Texas. Yeah, just rub it in. I'm not sure what it is here. It was in the teens when I got up this morning. Who knows now? No, I guess we have technology. I will just look on AccuWeather and see what the temperature is. Okay, it says 19 degrees out right now on AccuWeather. I'm not looking at my thermometer. I have a thermometer that gives me indoor-outdoor temperatures. Do we use oil for heating? No. I used to live in an apartment building that used oil, but the house I'm in uses natural gas for heating. I kind of want to get one of those, what are they called? Heat exchange. Is it called a heat exchange? Heat pump. I want to get a heat pump. That's for down the road when I'm in a better financial place, but they can provide air conditioning and heating, except when it's extremely cold, then you need that propane backup. But they're supposed to be very efficient. So that's one of my goals for after the house is paid off, in 2 years. Um, let's see, 53 degrees in California. A lot warmer than here, more than twice as warm. Uh, yeah, if it gets too cold to use a fountain pen, does that force me to use a ballpoint? I don't do much writing outdoors. I mean, it's pretty out there right now, but I don't see going out in my coat and my boots to settle on the front steps and do some writing in this weather. So my fountain pens don't mind that it's cold because they just ride in my pocket and do the writing indoors when it's cold. I do remember though, was it 2 years ago or 1 year ago? I did a pens on the road. That must have been 2 years ago because it was during the pandemic. I went on the road. I went to a really rural church. It was called the Mound Church, and did a pens and use out there. And it was flipping cold in that church, and I was starting to have trouble feeling my fingers, and my pens were even struggling to write. So I think they do get a point where they don't write well. Nothing froze, I don't think. Okay, and Chris Sains is hoping for cool weather down there in Texas, so I'm guessing cool weather doesn't look like my version of cool weather. Jordan, I have found I can't use a fountain pen. Oh, if I can't use a fountain pen. Yes. In fact, that pencil cup I was going through all my pens earlier, I always keep a wood pencil handy because that's what I like to use if I'm not using a pen. 34 degrees in Fargo. It's snowing and windy. I don't think you're supposed to get much of the storm that we're getting. And it looks like South Dakota is getting it worse because they're talking 2 feet of snow around like Spearfish and Lead and the Black Hills area. Will I expect my students to come back to school with multiple days of homework done? Honestly, I was at the end of all my chapters and I was doing some final labs. And I am not 100% sure what I'm going to do with those labs now because clearly we're not going to do them. I'm sort of at a loss there and looking at my final tests thinking, oh, all these questions about these labs and related to these labs, and what am I going to do? Because like my freshmen were supposed to do fractional distillation, which is a very time-consuming lab. In chemistry, we were going to do some plating, to measure oxidation numbers. Also kind of time-consuming, but not as time-consuming. And I'm just thinking, got to cut. I can't send labs home with my students. It's just not feasible. So yeah. Now, if I were a math teacher, I'm sure I could do that, but I'm not a math teacher. So I am in a really rotten spot right now, thanks to this blizzard coming when it did. If it would have come last week, I could have said, hey, this is what's going to be due Friday. And yeah, if we're in school, we can work on it in school. If we're at home, we'll work on it at home. Doesn't work out that way. 40 degrees and in sunny in Westport, Connecticut. I think you get a little help from the ocean there too in Westport with your climate. We get no help from the ocean here. We're very far from any ocean. That's why it's so hot in the summer and cold in the winter. 6 to 12 inches. Yeah, I've heard 9 to 14 inches here. Okay. Oh, cooler weather coming in Florida. Only supposed to be in the 60s. Everybody will break out their hoodies. T-shirts. Yes, we do have an exam period coming, and that's just going to make it that much more fun to try to squeeze everything in before finals. So I have to spend some time today and possibly tomorrow, depending on how this storm goes, trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. So at least I've got it all made. I just have to adjust it rather than create. So that's good. But yeah, bad time for a snow day. I really wish this would have waited till like February, like I said, when I'm sick of school, not when I have a Christmas holiday coming up. Indian eyedropper pen. Yeah, I can imagine. -3 Celsius in North England. Oh yeah, I hate ice. There is a layer of ice under this pretty snow that's coming down. So I would be nervous about walking outside right now or driving. Have I taught math before? Yes, I have. I'm actually a certified math teacher. I've taught just about everything in math from grades 8 through dual credit calculus. I would rather teach science, but I have taught math. Um, in England, there's an unusual storm this week. Okay. Yeah, I know parts of England get more snow than others. I was surprised actually. I used to watch this show, Faulty Towers, and I learned that there were palm trees growing in England, and that just blew my mind because I always thought of England in terms of back in the 80s. My parents always watched this show called All Creatures Great and Small, and that's kind of how my mental picture of England was. And then to find out that there's palm trees in England, it's just, what? But yeah, you'd benefit from a nice current coming up the Atlantic Ocean from the Gulf of Mexico to help keep your country warm. Um, minus minus 6 in Denmark. I don't know as much about Denmark's weather. Trying to think, there's a whole bunch of islands off the coast of Denmark, I think, that have a name that is not coming to my brain right now. Makeup project, pass fail, hand out fountain pens, 500 words, explain how they work. That would be a good physics one. Get that capillary act or biology, capillary action. It's supposed to be summer here. You look at, yeah, 17 degrees. I can handle 17 degrees, and I do realize you're talking Celsius, but that's a nice day for working outside. Showers, that's a nice excuse to come indoors and rest. Yeah, Faulty Towers is great. I have rewatched that a couple of times. Oh, so you have a degree in math. Yeah, I actually, my BS is in physics. I ended up taking enough math courses in grad school that I was able to get a equivalency. And I don't actually have the degree, but I have the coursework for a degree, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, Are You Being Served is also a good one. Uh, that is I'm kind of amazed looking back that my parents enjoyed it, but they did. We'd watch that show as a family, and now I kind of like cringe when there's sex on the screen and I'm in the room with my family. But yeah, back then we watched it as a family. I don't know what they were thinking. Same weather in Denmark as UK. Okay. Yeah, I've never been to England. That's another place I'd love to visit. I'm going to say UK because actually a lot of the places I want to visit in the UK are in Wales or in Scotland. Oh, so you're pursuing? Are you the same? Okay, so you're pursuing political science? Yeah. When I was in college, I did briefly consider getting a major in chemistry, but I chose to go the physics route instead. Seems like, speaking of physics, like that bubble has been a long time just sitting there, not blooping yet. I had several friends who majored in political science. That's yeah. I was trying to think of a polite way to say that. Yeah, Andrew Wertheimer took my words out of my mouth. Yes, this would be an interesting time to study political science here in the United States. I find some of it interesting, but there's a reason I majored in science, not political science, because boy, that can get ugly. Especially around here, I don't dare bring up politics. So, do you have to grade all the exams and submit? Yes, and I think that's a good thing. My very first year teaching, I made the mistake because our grades weren't due until the new year. So I made the mistake of waiting, and then we get to December 31st. I'm like, oh yeah, grades are due tomorrow. which ruined my first New Year's living on my own. Because guess what I did all day? So yeah, this is a lot nicer. It kind of makes it for a little bit busy time, but yeah, we have to have all our grades in before the break. Um, yeah, I'm sure watching the news, if you've got that perspective, you just know too much sometimes. That's kind of me watching science fiction movies. If it's really good, I can forget that. Oh yeah, the science isn't really working there. But if it's not so good, but it would be entertaining, it's hard to get past that. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to give everybody one last look at the snow, but I'm actually going to open my door to do it this time. And then I've been sitting here for an hour and I just got to move. So I'm going to give you a look outdoors. And you get to see my mess, sort of. So I hope I'm showing you the outdoors because I can't tell what I'm looking at right now because I can't see my computer screen. So as blizzards go, it's not a very not a very promising beginning, but it's supposed to get worse. Horse race of politics in the U.S. Yeah. I think that's what's I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. What's bothered me lately about politics is it's more about party and party victory rather than country. And I would prefer to think that my politicians have competing ideas on what's best for the country, not about power. And when I see some of the people they're running, I just like, really? You just want somebody from your party in office. You're not trying to get the best person. So, yeah, that's what frustrates me. Yeah, I enjoy what a lot of my news. I like to listen to The Economist. It's actually a magazine, but it's from the UK, so it's interesting to get a different perspective on US news from outside. A lot of the local stuff just isn't great. But yeah, sports mentality is a good term for it. So yeah, Andrew is headed out to feed the cat and grade papers. I should probably take my opportunity to grade a few papers too. So I think I'm going to close this out here. I'm going to grade some papers, write with my pens, and I've got a book I'm reading, and I now have time to read it. So anyway, history of law and government, but yeah, it is a horror movie in the current climate. That's a great way to put it. So anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I got a peak of 32 viewers, which I did not expect at this time of day. If we get more snow or if school's called off again tomorrow, which I'm feeling like the storm is just a late arrival. So that means it's very likely it'll be called off tomorrow. I might do another live stream tomorrow. So who knows? I'll try to do it at a different time of day because I won't have a class I'm taking tomorrow. So I'll do that one in the evening. Maybe I'll try to start it early enough. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. And where's the end stream button? There it is.